Well, welcome everyone. I'm John Wuorinen. Hey, I'm sorry, Nancy, are we on now?
You are, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, all we see is okay. Welcome everyone. I'm John Wuorinen. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Columbus Academy. And we have the last in our scheduled series of Zooms at Noon. And today we welcome Christy Benning, longtime Latin teacher here at Columbus Academy, started back in 1987. So you are a veteran.
I am a veteran.
Yes. And interestingly, not only is she a Latin teacher, the lead Latin teacher here at Academy, she is also the department chair of service, the chair of the service department. And Christy, I don't know of well, first I should mention she also has two wonderful children who graduated from here, Austin and Alyssa. Back in what, 2009
for my son, and 2013 for my daughter. Yeah, so okay. Alyssa, yes.
Yeah, so again, she has lots of ties to the school, but I find it interesting that you are the chair of the service department. Do you know of other schools that have service departments?
No, I think most of them have a director or someone a single person who may have some staff members. But we decided about 10 years ago that because we want to see this as a curricular piece, and we want to develop it in the way that we develop other aspects of our curriculum, that having a department that that has people who sit from all aspects of our community. So we have a parent who sits in our department. We have people who are from our staff, our school nurses. So we have a broad range of people in this department, so that we are able to coordinate our activities, but also to look at things from various lenses. And so that's kind of why that was the idea for having a department, and that's kind of how we operate. Well, we're pretty lucky.
Well, I was going to say, it's great. It shows how much the school values and emphasizes this piece of what is the curriculum. So you're meeting in the department chair meetings with the chair of the history department and the English department and all that sort of stuff. So again, that's the level of focus that we have. So Christy has agreed to join us, and she has put together a PowerPoint, and I've got some questions all teed up and ready to go to ask her. But there's lots that we'll gain from the PowerPoint at first. And as always, the Zoom at Noon is curated by the talented, how awkward, the talented Nancy Velasquez, who is listening and watching, and she will be taking your questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and she will pass those right along to us. Christy, I'm going to go ahead and have us look at your. Uh-oh. May take just a second.
So John, while you're waiting here, I understand. So we have a variety of things that we do with all ages of our students. And one of the things that you'll see at the very first slide is an apple with a big bite out of it. And in the fall, we have we kind of kick off our community-wide service by having kids and families go out and pick apples. For many people, apples are an identification of Ohio. They're a wonderful source of fiber and freshness. And what we encourage people to do is go out, pick apples at Lynn's Fruit Farm. not too far from here. It's on a Sunday, and we have students who then help with the collection of the apples. We encourage a family to pick a bag and donate a bag. And that's kind of our kickoff for what we really want our community to do, which is come together in a variety of ways to invest themselves in helping to meet the needs of others.
And in
There we
fact,
go.
there's the philosophy of the service, the mission statement of the service.
Right. So this mission statement was written by students about 20 years ago. They came together and we decided that we needed a philosophy of purpose. And I'm always so proud of the fact that this really was they who generated it, not me. The Academy has another organization, a student body that is much like its department. The Service Board. The Service Board is primarily an upper school body. It meets every Wednesday. It has a membership of about 120 kids.
That's more than a quarter of our student body. It's a third of our student body, roughly.
And they meet every Wednesday, and they are in charge of managing the service requirement. They have a leadership team that guides them. And then they have 2 elected student leaders, and those 2 elected student leaders are elected at the same time as our student body president and vice president. So again, the idea here in all aspects of what we're trying to do is make sure that our community understands the importance of this value and this habit that we're trying to develop.
Well, and you mentioned that they are actually administering the requirement.
Mm-hmm.
This I find just terrific, and it speaks to how much we value service. It also speaks to how much we value the leadership of our students here. So there's a relatively small service requirement for graduation, 45 hours.
And students have starting after they finish their 8th grade year. To fulfill this, it must be done off of our campus, and it must be in some sort of need-based activity. So providing food or housing or some sort of thing that would support somebody, in his well-being,
Right.
And basic need.
And so the student, before they don't just go out and do their service, they actually have to propose a service project
Mm-hmm.
to the service board. And the service board actually then, a group of students, looks at the project and evaluates if it meets the criteria that they have, and again, it's evolved over time, and that they have established. And so we actually have students ruling in very thoughtful, very, very direct ways on whether or not something passes muster in terms of a graduation requirement. That's a big responsibility, and I'm very proud that Columbus Academy does that.
Mm-hmm. No, and it is, and it's an interesting thing about teaching about when the students do this evaluation, that the student who is writing the proposal, his or her name is suppressed, so that we operate in a kind of transparent way. We have a series of questions that we do with our research, and we share the decisions, or I should say the parameters, and we do some research. So we do all of our best to try and make sure that the mores and the values that we have about service are student values, but that they are practiced by students, evaluated by students, and kind of a cool thing for them to learn how to do.
That's terrific.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm pretty proud of them.
That's
You can
great
tell?
stuff.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, if you want to go ahead and
Sure.
zip through the
Okay, is this gonna?
PowerPoint, it should.
There we go.
There it is.
So this is something that we've recently developed, just so that our community can see the variety of opportunities and ways in which our kids are involved, and our community at large. So last month we have, and we do every month, we provide a meal to Faith Mission. Pre-COVID, the kids would go down under the supervision of our school nurse, who is a service department member, and would go down and serve a meal at Faith Mission. The food is taken from our food here at school. And then they take it down and they serve. As part of that, the younger kids often make cookies, or they supplement this particular meal in whatever way they can. Sadly, during COVID, we haven't been able to go down and serve, but we feel a real responsibility to the mission. And so we still take the food down and it still is distributed there. And, that is just what we do. And so some of the other things you'll see are we have a 3 times a year, we have a blood drive. In January, we generated, I think it was almost 50 pints of blood. The response was unbelievable, and it had to do primarily not only with our giving community, but with the community demand with blood donations being down. So you were going to ask me something.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a lovely glance at what's going on. But one of the things that's interesting is, Columbus Academy actually has 16 grades here now. And so, everything from the 3-year-old program, then 15 grades, 3-year-old program, pre-K, kindergarten, and then 12 years. So 15 years. And that's a wide variety of different service opportunities and different focuses for these children. Can you talk a little bit about how the program evolves? So, you can have seniors in high school go out to a habitat build. It's a little harder with a pre-care. Can you talk about that a little?
I can. Now, so in the lower school, what you can see here on the right here, that the 2nd grade had developed a project of honoring healthcare workers and first responders in our community. And that was organically generated through their class. So the kids have some freedom through opportunities that are either the teacher directed or the student directed in the ways that they can participate and do things. Yeah, John's got something here.
Along the same lines, it was a softball question, I will be honest. So even at the youngest grades, so I was out giving a tour, and I ran into some kindergartners who were out walking around, and they were on spreading kindness. It's actually tied into our wellness program along with community service. And so I got this wonderful little "You Are Special" bag, or a badge, and it came from my friends in the kindergarten D section. And so again, it may not be moving outside Columbus Academy's zone very much, but we think of these things in different ways, right, Christy? We've got the Columbus Academy community that we can help. We've got the Central Ohio community, and beyond that, we've had service trips to different places. Don't happen all the time, but you actually run a service program over the summer.
Right. And so some of the things that we do is we have kids who may, through a variety of constraints, the demands on their time or whatever, we have a camp that the kids can go out and for 2 weeks serve in the community. It's called Feed the Need. Last summer, they worked primarily at the Hart Food Pantry out in Reynoldsburg, but they've also done things, and again, COVID's kind of limited the access that the kids can have and the ability to travel as much. But prior to that, we have had kids serving Meals on Wheels, cooking meals at Faith Mission, and then serving them, because then they have a longer span of time, buying the food and cooking the food and getting the menus together. We have an annual service day in the high school where all of our students and our faculty leave the campus and go out into the community to learn more about what's available for our students to do under someone's supervision, so that they kind of get a sense of that. And then, of course, a part of this is serving is a really wonderful habit and what we want to have our students learn, but it also is a social way, and the way that we build community here through a variety of different activities is by advisory, through clubs and organizations, so that the kids
through some of the sports teams.
Right.
Sports teams have gone out and served.
and delivered Meals on Wheels. So that what we want is for the kids to be able to have support from their friends, but also them to understand and see that this is just part of what we do here at the school. So here I'm going to show, John had talked about some of the things that we do. This is one of my favorite things, primarily because it can involve a nice broad section of people. Every year since August of 2017, we have hosted, and in conjunction with Otterbein University and the Westerville Habitat Partnership, a wall build. Through an event called Empty Bowls, we raise about $5,000 or $6,000, and then the Westerville Habitat Partnership often finds another $5,000 or $6,000. We come together, we buy the lumber, and the assembled volunteers, usually about 150, come together and build all the walls of a habitat house. This expedites the process of the house building. It gets people involved. And as you can see Philip down here, and Abby here, and Matt McHugh here. These are all members of our community. Over here on the right, Anaya and Isabel, you can see. And this is a habitat volunteer named Martha Jaguki. So this is just a fabulous way for kids. You don't have to have any skills. There's no power tools. All you have to have is a hammer and a nail, and a good eye for a nail and a hammer meeting. And then, we're off. We do this in about 4 hours. So
many of these things will occur on weekends, obviously.
This is a Friday, Saturday. So Friday night, they cut all the lumber and they set it up so that it's all preset for a Saturday morning build. The build starts about 7:30 in the morning. And again, you can see the various ages of the people who are here. This is Emily Campbell, who is in our development office, and her daughter. To support this, we have an event called Empty Bowls. We have the kids, the ceramics students make, last year they made about 400 bowls. The year before they made about 600 bowls. We have a Soup for Shelter event. It occurs on Otterbein's campus, and it is in conjunction with a Westerville Habitat concert presentation. So you come to the Empty Bowls event, eat your soup, and then you can go to the concert if you're so inclined. The students run the event. It is meant to be a light supper to remind people of what they do and don't have, and what others do and don't have. And then the bowl is a reminder of the event, and kind of a keepsake. This is when John was talking about what we do across the board. This is our longest standing event. It is heavily integrated throughout the community. It runs from about October 29th until November 17th. It is a school-wide series of events called Kids for Kids. We have a food drive, we have a clothing drive, we have perishable shopping. We have shopping for all sorts of different things that the kids come together. They use the demographics from some families that are provided through agencies, and then they treat those families as their special, someone special for whom they provide. So this is at the Delivery early in the morning on a Saturday morning, just before Thanksgiving. These are pictures of the kids selecting toys and stuff from our donations with one of the kindergarten teachers. You can see their kind of what they're doing with their third grade teacher. And this is one of our parent volunteers, Trisha Celine.
And it's really a great, I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
It's really a great community-wide event. You have alums who actually every now and then will come back and help, but I mean, parents are heavily involved, the students are heavily involved, teachers, administrators. I mean, it is a really special time for that. So
it is, really is, and it is one way that the community as a whole does unite in a way to be generous and thoughtful and supportive of about 30 families in our community that might not have a nice Thanksgiving break and meal and warmer winter without the gifts that are given. So these are the members of our service department. And you can see we have membership across the board. We have some retired people And then we have people from our staff and from our development office and from parents. Okay. One of the ways that we make sure that we serve our own community is that, and it's a kind of a green initiative as
Sure.
well, is that we collect used dress code clothing. We have a closet that's open 24/7 for any student who needs something, should he or she have an accident, or if you need some clothes, they are there.
I know that there was recently a student, not recently, within the last year or so, a ceramic student who got just, very messy in the ceramics classroom and went down to the clothing exchange and found new garbs. So even in an emergency.
Even in an emergency. And again, this is down the hall from the nurse's office, so that in fact, we have a little guy emergency, that little guy and little gal can recover without too much embarrassment and hardship. And so we have boxes that are stationed around our school that where we collect. And then our parents sort the things and put them all in here. And again, the closet is open always during school hours, that nobody ever checks. You could take the whole bin of stuff if you wanted, or drop it off, whatever you don't want. And really it's about, again, as part of our community, being supportive of the others in whatever need they have, immediate or long-term. So this is a little bit of data about our Kids for Kids, about specifically in the middle school, about 10 of the 32 families are sponsored in the middle school, and each grade has an assigned task. So the grade 6 sorts the food donations.
Yeah, I mean, kids are coming in with these bags of non-perishable foods, no glass.
They said they glass, but we live with that, we roll with it. So we do all sorts of different things. So this is a grade level activity that the whole grade participates in. We have an 8th grade service day where all the stuff is packed up and redistributed once we are done culling from it. And we have over here, up here in the upper right corner, we have an activity called Begging for Cans, where we go out into the neighborhood and collect non-perishable food on Halloween. So it gives the older kids a purpose for trick-or-treating. And then
very popular pizza party event.
It is a very popular pizza party event. The gentleman down here on the lower right in the yellow shirt is an alum, Michael Corey, who is the head of the Human Service Chamber. He has spoken on a number of occasions about homelessness, et cetera. We have, as you can see, and you noted, a blood drive. We have faculty staff events where we have the kids serve food, so all sorts of things. This was our response to COVID. We had our kids in our makerspace make something called a blessing box. We have them posted around within about 15 minutes. You could actually walk there if you needed to, 15 minutes of the school. And the boxes are stocked with non-perishable food and toiletries. And they're available 24/7 to anyone in need. They are on bus lines intentionally, so that those who are traveling who might need something have it. And we're pretty excited about that. And then this is something we did just recently. We had the kids come on President's Day. We usually do this on MLK Day, but we got snowed out. And they bake bread. And it takes about 2.5 or 3 hours, 4 hours to get the entire process done. And they bake bread and they take it to Faith Mission. That's delivered there. And I can leave you with this. We're just about out of time.
Yep.
And even though this is a habitat message, it really is one that we embrace very heartily, which is that, we understand that little guys have a certain way that they need to operate. And we have expectations for big guys and big gals to operate in a more hands-on way. And so every hand for us makes a difference.
That's terrific.
How's that?
I'm going to stop the share and see if we've got any questions from folks. Nancy, are we back up?
Yes, you
Okay.
are. The only question that I see is if you could reiterate when students are the requirement, graduation requirement, how
Sure.
that works.
Sure. The students have 4 years, starting as soon as they finish 8th grade, to complete 45 hours of service off of our campus. We encourage them to go to places like the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, Meals on Wheels, or any local pantries, et cetera. We also have a relationship with several nursing homes, retirement homes,
Mhm.
where so the students can dedicate their time there. Right now, we have a student who, because we allow students to also propose and ask to work at certain sites. We had a student who is working with hospice,
Oh, wow.
who chose to work with hospice. We had a student who went down and worked at the US-Mexican border. We have had students, John's son.
Oh, yeah.
John's sons, and my children also worked at muscular dystrophy camp for as camp counselors.
MDA camp.
MDA
Very,
camp.
very moving experience.
Moving experience. We have had students work with a group called PALS. So and we have places that we can suggest for students to work. They have 4 years to complete the 45 hours. And then we ask them to commit 5 hours of service to the school, and we have a myriad
Yeah.
offering. So that's like easy breezy to do.
Going down and helping case or helping give admissions tours or recycling, lots and lots.
Helping with the clothing closet, all of those things.
So lots of different opportunities. And one of the things that I think is very special about our program is, Christy, that lots of these organizations that we've partnered with, we really have partnered with, and that, you know, they'll help us with students during our service day, and then take our students when they propose.
Right.
And so again, I would say that you and the organization, the service board, really do try to integrate the program into our program.
Mm-hmm. In fact, we have a website too that, yeah. So I don't know if.
I don't know. I think I stopped sharing.
Yeah, if you share the screen, I can scroll through real fast and show you where that is.
Ooh, where did it go?
There you go.
Share screen.
If you can pull up, it may not be able to go back. Oh, I see it, Johnny.
Oh, do you?
Go back again. One more time. We're sorry that we're fumbling. That's not.
Oh.
Okay.
Didn't it do that? Well, this is the last time we're trying.
Then we'll direct you elsewhere. Nope. So on the school's website, there is the something called the service board. And if you kind of travel around there, you will find a really nicely laid out, a student created website that talks about the requirement and gives suggested sites and has all sorts of resources for kids and for adults to learn more about what we do with service here at the Academy.
Well, that's terrific. Any last questions, Nancy?
Nope, that's all I had.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, we've come to the end of our Zoom at noon about service here at Columbus Academy. Thank you, Christy, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. There we go.
And if you do end up having questions, please don't hesitate to send them to admissions@columbusacademy.org, and we will forward them on to Ms. Benning, and she'll be able to help you. This is the last Zoom at noon that we've got scheduled at this time. We may end up adding a few more, so please don't forget to watch our website and check back with us. We appreciate all you attending. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.